All right, welcome to the first, I guess, Fantasy Fanatics podcast. I'm Brandon, and this is
This is Archer. No, I'm not that fuckwit. It's Welshy. You can probably guess.
it's the accent really. Um,
Yeah, maybe.
this is gonna be awkward and incredibly cringy, but we'll persevere through it for you guys.
It doesn't really bother me. I won't be listening to it back because I know I sound like a fucking moron. So,
Or read in the comments, just ignore it all. Just pretend we're going the right
it,
way.
me, as soon as this is done, I'm gone.
Yeah, just leave the forum forever.
Yeah, I'll start off. I'll ask you from a couple of questions that some of the posters put to us. This one of them from Pukas, and the importance of carrying coverage for positions.
Wait,
What do you think about that?
like running like having
Potentially,
backup.
yeah, that's it. Potentially running maybe with no front row cover if you think you've got enough there. That sort of
I I have
jazz.
like I in my teams I have to have that. Just because I don't like if I get someone like if Sam Burgess cops a 1 to 2 week suspension or something like that, I don't want to trade him out.
And that's going to happen. Same with the pound. These are formalities, aren't they?
Yeah, like I don't believe you shouldn't have cover. Like it's too much of a risk because you don't want to be trading out one of your guns for 1 or 2 weeks or having to offload a cash cow early just because he's like off for a week and running a
Yeah,
player down is just too much. Like it's too detrimental to your team. You lose you could lose up to 70 points.
yeah. I think a lot of it comes down to the job security as well. Injuries, and not just injuries to the player, but injuries affecting positional changes. Like you've got to have Whitehead, who might move for a back and losing a shitload of points there.
Yeah,
You
like
know,
if Whitehead's playing one game in the centers, he'll probably drop below your 17, and then you'll want someone actually decent scoring. You don't want that 20 points over like 45 or something.
yeah, and it's unlikely any bench cover you have is never going to really match your starter. So
No,
you're already wading up trading,
yeah,
regardless.
yeah, but I still feel like you have to have that cover just because you don't want to wait. Like you don't want to force yourself into a trading position or like just run without those points because it's too much.
Yeah, it's what you were looking at Nathan Brown last week. What a 1 to 2 week supposedly injury. You feel like you might have a Totola. You think you can run on the bench for a couple of weeks, and you find out it's 7 weeks, and you've lost an absolute shed load of points.
I just never want to hear Nathan Brown's name again, to be honest, after last year.
No, it is. They say it's difficult because how can you can't really predict the injuries. You can't predict the time frames that they're coming back, and all you can do is hope that the club are being honest with their initial reports.
It's okay, the Eels team apparently just don't know how to predict their injuries at all either. It's fine. One
No.
week's like 12, it's okay. Didn't ruin my season. Um, so the second question is picking gun players from the bench. Are some players like TPJ, so Pangai, better off with the same minutes against tired defenders versus the grind of the opening 20 minutes when few tries are scored and bulk tackles are made?
To be honest, I don't think there's many guns that actually come off the bench.
Yeah.
Most of our guns, big minute players. I think with his Panga injury, I think it's more to do with his hamstring. But I suppose you can use Crichton as an example potentially. Established gun, he's an elite second rower, cut and dried. You're gonna want him in your final 17, whatever happens.
But the thing is, he's coming
Yeah,
off the bench as well just because of injury concerns. Like, guns
yeah,
don't start on the bench.
exactly. You're not gonna. You don't think you're gonna have that sort of problem like so Pangai. I'd absolutely love him this year, but unless he's starting, regardless, I don't think a lot of it comes down to game flow. They're 20 points down when he comes onto the field after 25, 30 minutes. How much ball is he going to have?
Yeah.
You know,
No, I agree completely. And at the end of the day, defenders are the people who average more points. Like Damien Cook, he has attacking plays, but he makes a boatload of tackles. Cameron Smith, just a boat. Like the consistent scorer, you give me someone tackling for 20 minutes straight, on the off chance that someone's going to break some tackles in their 20-minute stint on the field. Like I don't see Pangai not being subbed off again.
No,
Just
and
because
I do not trust that ham injury. The size of the kid. I know Tamalolo had a lot of problems when he first broke on the scene. I think it's just a lot of mass, a lot of weight, that sort of thing. It's not. This is going to pop up quite a bit. I think.
yeah, I wouldn't
Maybe
fork
if
out
he
gun price money for a bench player.
no, but I'm not sure if the minutes are going to change. But it's just I just don't trust it. I don't think I'm a minute man, 100%. 80 minutes, I will put that player in every time. I don't care if it's PPM or shit. I don't really look at that. I just want a consistent score.
Yeah.
If you got big minutes,
And
you're always going to, that dead score is very rare because even if you can miss 5 or 6 tackles, still make 20, 30, couple of run meters, the odd tackle break, and you're up into the 30s. And it's protecting yourself really from the 20s and sub 20s that you really, really don't want.
yeah, no, that's fair. And Cacau's like a good example of a player that he's great explosively and he can have a good game off the bench, but he never really became a genuine pick up and have in your team week to week until he was starting. Just because the
No.
minutes weren't there.
Well, he started off, I think he played about 40, 50 minutes last year and a massive score.
Yeah.
And
And it was
you can't rely on that. 8 tackle breaks in one run every single time. This is why I've had Crichton all preseason, and I've taken him out now. Just he's the type of player who can bust out a big one, but I just don't trust it. And how long is he going to be on the bench for? It's hard to predict at the moment, isn't it?
No, that's fair. And
Likely
honestly,
1
with
week
Crichton,
back in.
I think Crichton's in a good position that he's going to drop some cash and be one of those guys you can jump on early after one of your cash cows peak.
Yeah. Like I said, the pan guy, I don't trust that sort of bench role. You get stuck, like I said, coming in a couple of points down, you're not getting much ball. That
Yeah, no,
all that sort of. So the another one we got off Pukas is carrying cash in the bank. How much is too much?
So for me, I think it's around that 250 mark. I think I'm sitting on 100k, but you don't want to go above that 250 because then it's just cash that's not being converted into points. You do the initial 3 weeks, you're going to use 6 trades, and most of that's going to be swapping from cash cow to other cash cow. And in that time,
Yeah,
I don't see cash cows earning more than say 50k between each other. You're going to get someone who jumps 50k, but your other cash cow that you're jumping off is still going to earn 10, 15k. So I don't think you
yeah,
need to go heavy in your investment, but you want some cash there just so you can get onto those, onto the cash cows for the year.
yeah. I think 100 is a decent buffer. I don't think you can really put a value on it. If one of your if one of your guns go down, you're pretty much jumping off onto the next one you can afford, the best one you can afford, really, unless you take the plunge, I suppose, and go on a midi who's had a good round 1 score, and had a bit of his game role might have changed a bit, and you want to take that risk.
Yeah.
But like you said, with a lot of it is going into your cash cows. A lot of them are starting off low unless you're busting out with 60, 70. They're not gonna get out of range.
Yeah, no,
So to be fair, I think 100. That's about what I had. To be honest, I think I'm sitting on about 84 in my current team maker. Not the biggest amount, but if you're confident enough in your cows and your middies, and you can't see any more value into using that cash elsewhere, then there's no point trying to spend it just because you're spending on someone who potentially had a better average last year.
Would you start with $0 in the bank?
Absolutely not. No, there's just too much risk involved. If one of your rookies, like Katoa last year, what did he start for, the 3?
A 3 and then was out.
Thompson's made probably 30 grand in 1 week. That's a no-go. You're looking at probably an NPR. I suppose it brings the loop into play then, but not for me.
Yeah, no, that's fair. If it was back in the day where it took 3 price rises before stuff changed, go for that. But
Oh yeah, VSD was it sports deck? Definitely, but no, I wouldn't do the riskier.
Yeah, no, that's
Not in
fair.
fantasy.
All right. So what rookies or guys under 300k do you currently have in your 17?
I'll give you the number. I'll leave that for the reveal. But at the moment I've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 sub 300
Okay.
currently.
I've got 7 currently, but then I've got 3 guys in that 300 to 400k range that are. I'd still consider like cash cow level.
Oh yeah, well you could be 500,000 if you elevate again, but obviously that's a lot more. It's a lot rarer than having a rookie, potentially going 30 points and making yourself 200 odd k.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
So I got then another one from Bucas, who's got quite involved in this. How much? And I quite like this one actually. How much is too much to spend on your MPRs? So, as an example, he's currently got Cahill outside of 17. Is that something you consider?
Ooh, this was like a really good like I like this question because it actually made me think about it. But at the end of the day, it's not about how much you're spending because Kahu's what like 300k or something in that range. I think it's like 340.
280 something random like that.
Yeah, so I think it comes down to who you'd be replacing him with. So because Kahu's not in your starting 17. So the points he scores don't matter at the end of the day.
No.
So you're weighing him up against the other potential cash cows. So you've got guys.
So it's
like
all
Nakora.
money making then.
Yeah, 100%. If you don't have Nakora but you have Kaho, Nakora is going to make more cash for you, and he's more flexible with his position. I'd take Nakora.
Yeah.
But if you've got Kahu over someone like Simonson, who knows how long he's going to be in the team for, then Kahu's got the job security that you're more comfortable of him making the cash you want, then go with Kahu.
Yeah. Yes, it's all about, at the end of the day, it's all about money making. Regardless, unless he's completely outscoring someone you've got in your starting 13 or starting 17, then potentially you need to look to swap with him and maybe swap with the other one out.
Yeah, but if he's not in your 17, it's just about how much cash he makes. And that's not an endorsement for Kahu, because I don't have Kahu and I don't want him near my team currently.
No, I don't trust his knees. I don't. The goal kicking is nice, but really, if looking about 26, I've got him about 26, potentially with goal kicking, maybe into the 30s, 32, maxing out. Unless he starts, well, he might start off with 2. You can't predict that sort of thing.
If he starts with a fly, he'll be one of the first guys I trade in. But as it stands for my week 1 team, he's not someone I'm keen on.
Sorry, mate, carry on.
Oh, he's just not someone I'm keen on.
No, I've got someone who's currently on my MPS. I got Totola, who I'm not starting. And with him, I think it's just a gut feel. Potentially in Musgrove, when you're 30, 35s, I think he's priced at around 21.
Yeah.
I really think you can nail down a role this year. I won't be starting him. I don't trust the minutes. Maybe looking at 40 to start the season without Gurgis.
Well,
but
see,
I really see him some of his elevating.
I have him and he's locked in my interchange bench.
No, well, to be fair, the only reason that he's not on mine is because I've got Nakora starting there and Ghana. But I really think he's a wait and see for me. I'm going to keep him. He might be a slow burner. I just really think he's going to explode this year.
All right. So, what's the optimum balance between cows and guns? You never hear much of the likes of like a Sarko and players that are only cows. If you could, what? Sorry, the wording on that question's retarded. You never.
But it is no worries. Let's be fair.
Yeah.
He's still a cow, 100%. You've just got lucky, really, starting someone that you're willing to finish potentially with in your final 17, like I did last year.
Yeah.
I didn't potentially want him there. I'd run out of trades, but if they start in base and they, what do you finish averaging 38, 35, 38, 38, something like that. He's in the centre position. Not really ideal, but it's not going to kill you towards the end of the season. At the end of the day, last 5 games, it all comes down to who scores. About the average pretty much goes out the window towards the end.
Yeah. So the question is, aren't cheap keepers better than say just going straight for a gun, like using that extra cash?
Unless they elevate to the elite, you've still should be upgrading them somewhere along the line.
Yeah,
I think I think you're only really getting stuck with like an Ashako was an example from last year. Is if you run out of trades, ideally you don't want them in your final. So they're a cow whatever way you look at it. If you're spending base dollar at someone who you're potentially willing to keep,
Yeah, well, my
for the
problem is
season.
Milchi. He went through some of the mid-price guys last year, and I think there were only 4 of them that were able to do that jump from, like, the 10-point jump is sort of what you want to see from your mid-price guy. You want to see him jump at least 10 points because then he's making a good amount of cash, or he's elevating himself into that borderline keeper
The
role.
next tier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and there were only 4 last year, so that just shows you how often like that occurs. So I'm on the fence where I'd only have 1 or 2 mid-price guys, and that's sort of what I have at the moment. Like my mid-price guys that I think are going to jump in that range are Murray, because everyone's got him in his team. Morgan without JT there, and that's sort of it. There's like question marks to say Arrow, but I feel like he's already proven
No,
himself.
Arrow's a kid. He's over 50 already.
Yeah.
He's whether he steps up to potentially being the elite of the elite, the top 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Right, in that range mid at the moment, Mahoney's potentially, but with Smith on the interchange and the Eels apparently going after every secondary outside 30 hooker available, is his role that secure? I understand through injury and you want someone coming in, but to me, he's got the potential to go to the elite, or maybe a bit below 45s, probably a bit less with the hookers, but
I can't see Smith getting more than 10 minutes at hooker. Like, Smith might come on and Mahoney might revert back around to the second row area and just build up tackles, but I don't see Mahoney playing less than 60 minutes a game.
No, that is he's what's he priced at now? 34?
Yeah.
30s?
I reckon even with 60 minutes he can easily hit that 40 mark.
The only problem I've got Mahoney. I won't be wrong. The only problem I've got with him, he just seemed like just a sole tackle bot, and without the 80, to me, I'm expecting 60. I'm hoping for 80. I think he can get probably around the 40s. If he gets 80, he's potentially going to turn into a gun, isn't he?
Yeah.
And you've got one of your, which is what Nobody's was on about. You've got your middies turn into a gun, but I'm not that. I'm a bit skeptical, to be honest. Same with Katoa. How much does Egan get?
I'm not touching Katoa. With Egan on the bench, Egan's going to get... I rate Egan a lot more than I'd rate Will Smith, who hasn't done anything and he's been in the league for like 5 years.
Yeah, I think he's more of an outside backer, isn't he?
Yeah,
but the more
100%.
the worries I got more from Mahoney is the constant rumours and links for Para about these pretty mediocre guys that they seem to be chasing. To be honest, how much hopefully it's just as injury cover and just to prop up if anything happens to Mahoney. But hopefully it's the former, to be fair, for that one.
Alright, so in your opinion, who do you believe are the must-haves to start the season with?
To me, must have Morgan. Out and out, he's got the potential. His scores without JT, I think we've been around this a couple of times on the forum, but his scores without JT are through the roof. What you're looking at, 50 odd.
Yeah, and it's confirmed he doesn't have Clifford beside him now, so I think that just confirms he's going to be that elite half.
Even if, to be fair, I'd run him with Clifford. I know Clifford would probably take his probably eat into his kick meters. We know Martin kicks like a bag of spuds, so I can't imagine he's not going to eat into it. But it's just being that a pure playmaker. I'm guessing 70% of the play is going to go through him.
Yeah, no, that's
through Morgan. I can't envision a team at the moment where I haven't got him. Don't get me wrong. Potentially, he could hover around the 35s and just be shit to start with. To be fair, especially with these rookie halves we've got, but I just can't see it. I at the moment I've got no team iteration without Morgan in there. Yeah. Obviously, it's easy to look at Nakora, base price in the centre, start in the second row. I think you're pretty dull if he's not somewhere in your starting 17.
No, that's fair. I've also got Murray down as one of my must-haves.
Yeah. The only problem I see Murray is just the minutes again. If he gets them, out and out gun. But I think there's still, especially with a doubt in my mind with Murray, if he gets the minutes, he can score well without him yet. But I like that security of having the big minutes. It's just to fall back and you're missing out the dead scores then.
Well, see, he hasn't left my team, but he was close to when the news that Lowe signed to the team and that they were bringing him in and stuff. I was like, ooh, maybe I should pass on Murray, but he's starting. I think you have to have him in your team to start the year just because of his price.
He's going over 40 points. I pretty much put my mortgage on that. But how much does he elevate to Gun, or is he, your 45 to 48? Is he potentially, your top of your old Gillette, with that sort of price range, which is just hovering just below. He's definitely worth starting the season with, because the only way is up. I think the sky potentially is the limit with him, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him, go
Just
between
staying
50.
where he is.
Yeah.
All right.
But like you said, I wouldn't start without him.
I do have another
Is there any
question
more?
that I didn't forward to you. I don't really have any must-haves. Like Fafita and Cook, they're guns, but you can do without one of them. I think we sort of covered it with Morgan and Murray and Nakora.
Yeah.
Who are your top 5 captains?
I'll start the season with, or
week one.
would I? Week one, right? I've said this a few times already. I want 80-minute players to start the season. Early season, new coaches, different play styles. I want as much game time as possible. I don't want a 60-minute Fafita being affected, by the ball being chucked wide if they go down early. They're nearly all hookers for me. Macca, Smith, Cook are obviously number one. You've got to go from last year. You can't hope that he drops down. You've got to be expecting 60 plus.
I've got
McInnes even.
So you'd have McInnes and McCulloch over Fafita?
Yes, start the season.
The 70-odd points he scored during the trial games? Yes.
I need I want that 80-minute play on the play. I just don't trust the start of the season, especially with the big men. Taumalola was awful last year at the start. I want the max minutes. My wild card would probably be Arrow. I know he's not going to get the 80 minutes, but I just think.
Oh, I've got Arrow.
If I was going to check it on
well.
Yeah. And anyone now? Anyone we haven't mentioned?
The only one is Cleary in DCE. They're like my 5th option left side. Who knows what they're going to score? They could put up 70 week 1.
You're an absolute fucking madman starting a half captain to start the season to me.
Well, I'm starting with Cook. Cook's my number 1, and I don't have Cleary or DC in my team at all. But I think that, if you really want to go that left side sort of captain pick and you don't want to stick with everyone else, they're your best bets.
Yeah. Like I said, to me, hookers all day long. 80-minute player, but I don't trust none of the edges. I might have said another wild card is someone like Harris starting off well, but at the start of the season, you're just looking out at someone who has a big game starting out.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, averages from last year mean fuck all to start the season. You can have Cook. He might hit a 45 week 1, hit a 90 week 2, and then averaging out to what he averaged last year. To me, it's a lot of luck involved the first couple of rounds.
That's something actually I learned last year. I started with Smith last year. I got fed up with Smith last year. I traded him in back 2 weeks later because he scored a 75 or something.
Snap!
2 weeks later, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to suck it up, bite the bullet, wasted 2 trades on Smith, lost a boatload of points. I want him in my final
Give yourself
team.
an uppercut.
Yeah, I fucking hated that last season. Still beat Mighty Fishes though.
What I hate
terrible.
though, the thing that does fucking wind me up, not so much on our forum, and a few others, is rule number 1 and all that bollocks. He had a poor patch. We should have known better at the end of the day, but he could have been declining, could have been Croft affecting him. At the end, we probably should have stuck pat, but it's just I know better than you, and rule number 1. It's just that fucking pisses me right off.
So you say with Cook, do you have Cook in your team?
No.
Okay,
I'm just praying that he has a poor start to the season. I am just praying.
So you don't believe there's going to be a rule number 1 involving Cook the next couple of years then?
Yeah, I think it is, but I think it's going to be very, very hard. How many players have we had go over 65? for all these years.
Yeah,
I think Smith's hit Smith's average is 67 potentially. Maybe with goal kicking, all the in general field kicking he's done through the years. I know Cook does a bit of infield kicking, but no conversions. Give him sometimes that extra 6 to 8 point buffer. Let's see how good the Storm have been over the last couple of years. I don't think he can maintain 64 points.
well,
60,
I'm hoping
yeah.
you're wrong.
He's starting the Cooks there, I'm guessing.
Yeah, starting with Cook, hoping he goes for like 75, 80 the first week.
Well,
Oh, you're right.
let's get on with the team revealing.
Yeah,
You've
sure.
got Cook. You're starting with Cook.
Yeah, I've got Cook at hooker and my captain, and like I've tried McCulloch and I just didn't feel right. McCulloch's always been on that cusp of will he, won't he be the gun this year? And he's had years where he's been for like 6 weeks straight. He's been the top scoring hooker, but there's just not consistent play there. So I don't.
Yeah, I can see that.
And Smith, you've already sort of touched on the issues surrounding him, so Cook's the safest option for me.
Props.
For Feeder and to Pow, I'm going heavy.
Wow, that is a pyramid at the top.
Yeah, Feeder's going to smash the season at the start. Honestly, I'm not sure about how I feel about Tapau. He's, I expect him to lose cash, but I'm not going to trade him out. He'll hit 100 at some point this season.
Yeah, we were debating that on the last couple of pages this morning on the forum. Do I think Tapau can hit 57 in 50 minutes again this year? No, but I'm pretty sure I could see a game time increase for him this year. They're absolutely shocking Seagulls pack. If they're not playing him for 60 minutes, turbo 80, they've got absolutely fucking no chance of staying in games.
My second row, I've got Arrow. He's one of the constants in my team. He hasn't left. I think he elevates himself to that elite tier. He had the niggling injuries all last year that was sort of costing him points, and he went off a couple times early and stuff, but he's shown he can bust out that 70 score a couple on several occasions.
What did he do? Still average 53 with all them, if injury affected games. He's a monster. The absolute fucking monster, like it is.
Fuck what Rabbit says. He's going to smash James's scores all year long.
Yeah, James moving to an edge. Whether or not he moves back later on when he realizes it's a bad idea, but I think with that fucking wrecking ball Fotuaki coming in, or whatever his name is, I don't think they're going to need James in the middle as much. You've got Wallace, Boyd coming in now. James is probably their best option on the edge, even though he's not the best of edge players. He's going down, not by much. I still think he'll go around 48, and he'll be a good option at the end for his duel, but I can't see his 50. Yeah, Arrow pisses all over James for me this year.
Then I've got Murray. We've talked at length about Murray already. He's great. I've got Garner. Is it Luke Garner?
Luke Garner, yeah.
Yeah, from the Tigers, just purely because he's starting in that role. He could end up benched in a couple of weeks for like McQueen or something, but I just don't see that happening.
McQueen.
Hey, it could
possible.
happen.
No, 100%. I've got him, and that's what I'm worried. But then you think if he's getting dropped for McQueen, fuck me sideways.
He was dog shit anyway.
Something going exactly.
But no, I've got Garner there. Then my starting halves are Morgan and Brown. I think that's probably one of the more common.
Yeah, definitely. Especially like a lot of people have got the same thoughts on Morgan, so they're betting that he turns into the elite. So you're really you're softening the risk. If he doesn't, you're still getting half his score, I suppose.
Yeah.
So it's no problems there.
My centers are Capewell and Holland. Just two guys that. Well, firstly, Capewell's the second row, so he's starting, so he's going to score well for your centers. And Holland, if he's got goal kicking, he's going to be in that elite.
Yeah, I think the end of his score last year, Reece Martin in the Queensland Cup, is he? Which is to me a surprise to me. I thought he was outstanding last year, and I am really, really surprised that he's not on the
I think it's one of those things where
I can't believe he's on the bench over him.
What was that?
Sorry, what did you say, mate?
I think with Reece Martin, it's also one of those things where fantasy clouds him because he came in and smashed out like a 60 his first week, and everyone was all over him.
Yeah, I understand the fantasy, and sometimes he can make you look a better player than you were. But I thought he was solid in defence, good going forward, and I'm really, really surprised to see him nowhere in the top 17.
Well, I'd have him over Elliott and probably CHN, and so like he's easily like their third or fourth better option there.
Yeah, yeah. Jackson's playing 80. He's not moving. He's not moving from that back row. I think Mariner was outstanding last year. I look at moving Mariner to prop to finding more space for Martin in the back row.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
yeah, that they're my centers. I've got Edwards, Hugh, and Clockstad at the back. And I think
Jerome Hughes, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And I
What are
think
you
that's
expecting from him?
honestly I'm not expecting much. If he can just maintain his price, I'll be happy enough with that. It's just in that price bracket, there's guys like Mansour and Watson, and I don't want to run Mansour if I've already got Edwards. And
Yeah,
Watson, I'm just not sold on him having enough of a role with Ponga up front now and all the play running through Pierce.
yeah.
So
That makes I did have Watson at times. Start more so the start preseason, but like you said, there's going to be so much going through Ponga and PS. What is I see him coming around the back a bit, but no, he's not. He can bust a few tackles, but I can't see the involvement being there to really elevate above the 40 odd that he's priced at. So I'd go with what you say there.
yeah, like I'm not expecting the world from Clockstad or from Hughes, either of those guys, but I think they do enough to not at least lose cash, and then I can work on them later.
Yeah, I think Hughes has got the potential.
Yeah.
I think he can go around 45, which would be a big jump from where he's priced now. But the way you're talking, you'll probably be happy with low 40s
Yeah, I'd be
from
happy
him.
with 40s and like 35s from Clockstad, and that will get me through the early season because I think I've got enough
Yeah,
up front.
Yeah, that's what I've got clocks at around 35. Potentially, again, he can potentially elevate, but a safe start of the season, a safe, score.
Yeah.
I can't see no problem with that back three, to be honest.
And my bench is all rookies, essentially. I've got Mahoney and Totola. They're two guys. I'm starting Totola because he's starting. He's going to score well. And then I've got Mahoney because I think everyone should have Mahoney. Then I've
Yeah,
got Kieran and Nakora, two guys that should be in everyone's teams, most likely in their 17s. I'm not sure about starting Kieran because I've got Burr, Sivo.
Brown, yeah.
Yeah. I've got Burr that I can slide up. I've got Ravalawa and my last emergency Simonson, who I have no idea about.
I think I'm pretty well. I don't really know the Raiders, but I'm sure Oldfield's back next week. I think the only reason he wasn't starting is because of I think he's got a hamstring injury.
Yeah,
But
the only one I'm not sold on is Simonson, and he'll probably get swapped out once I look into the
you've got
Raiders
Garrick.
backline. I don't have
You've got
Garrick. Just because
no, as you could use Garrick over Simonson potentially.
I've thought about it, but like the Manly backline, we don't know. Like one of them are dropping for Turbo in a week or two, so we don't really like he's definitely got more opportunity than Simonson to stay, but who knows where.
I mean, is that one of the worst starting backlines we've seen going into round one of the season?
The Manly
Parker,
backline?
yeah,
Oh,
absolutely shocking.
It's garbage. We talked about their forward pack, but their backline's worse somehow.
Oh, and then they've brought in the superstar Elgie, absolute dog shite. You've got Garrick. To be fair, it's probably been a bit harsh on Garrick. He hasn't started an NRL game. Parker and Elliott. What a frightening back three that is.
Don't worry, they'll rack up the points. LG will put them through.
Well, let's hope.
I have a soft spot for LG, even though he is another fantasy bust that I was on. So what about
you? Well, the Yippee Try Mother Rockers. I'm going Captain Macca. I've got a lot of faith in him going above. All I want to start the season with my captain is 50 plus points, just solid with potentially more. I think McCulloch is going over 55 this year, or certainly between 52 and 55, potentially over. He's been talked to death on the forum, and he should be. He's underpriced for what he can produce. There's been talk of him declining. I'm not really up for that. I just think he had a lot of, would he have an elbow injury? Was it dislocation during one of the games last year? And he came back, was it a week or two later after being originally thought, a couple of months. That's got to have affected his playing somewhat.
If Cash,
so I've got
if Cash wasn't an option, like a factor, would you take Cook over McCulloch?
Oh yeah, 100%. But he's what are you talking? 260k more?
Yeah.
For someone who could potentially, I'm predicting Cook to come down and Maka to go up. So technically, I'm points per Cash. I'm saving myself something, and it's the way I've been looking at it anyway. Yeah. But I'm not always right. I've got front rowers. I'm sure a lot of teams have been struggling with. I didn't have Fafita till the last couple of days, but now I haven't really done a team without him in. So I've got Fafita, and I've got in. I have been looking at Sergis, but I've gone with Vaughan.
And you're expecting?
I can't handle. Yeah, I looked at Milchy's Wonder Sheets, the 2018 planner, and I looked at Vaughan's scores, and that was Tapau last year, pretty much. Just playing slightly more minutes.
He played like Vaughan between last year and the year before. He played identical minutes essentially. It was just that work rate and the try scoring wasn't there last year, and I think that has to come into due to the fact that Graham was brought in and took some of that workload off of him. Yeah,
100%. Now you're also missing DeBellin, which is an absolute fucking workhorse. And when anyone says, their tackles are going to be beaten up by other players now, they have to be, because he's an absolute cunt.
That's fair.
But he's a great fantasy player. Very, very good defender, and he was really coming on. But I think it's there for Vaughan to pick up. I think Graham's obviously on the decline now.
Yeah, no.
He has to step forward. Him and my mantra is
Sims will come back in, and he's not going to be the same sort of player that DeBellin was.
No, he's not. Will we got Frizz now starting lock? Do we think long term?
So I think
you're not really lose. You might lose something. You're losing something off your edge moving Frizzle in.
I think the plan is when Sims comes back, Frizz pushes back out to the edge.
Oh, they're moving Frizz.
That's the rumours.
The rumours are Tarek going into 13, are they?
Yeah.
Or Corbin.
When he comes back, he wants the 13.
Well, to me, he can want it all he wants, but he's dog shite. I'd be honestly, I'd be looking to keeping Frizzle there, and maybe Leilua. I think he's got a lot more potential than Sam. He was just a massive plodder.
Yeah.
His brother is shit out, but don't
useless. Talk about Ashton like that. I love Ashton. Such a good player.
I've got in my great ponytail. I've got Arrow, and second row Arrow. I was tossing up between putting the captain on and talking early season. I want 80. I want guaranteed 80. I want that security. I don't want to be watching the game 30 minutes in and him sitting on 20 points and being like thinking fuck. Murray being talked to death on here, and Gillette. I cannot see him going anywhere under. What is he currently priced? 37. He's got a previous average of 48. He's now in the middle. All it comes down to now is the minutes. I think even if you get 60 minutes, he can pump out the 45, which is still making him worthwhile. But if the rumours are where he's starting in the middle and moving to an edge and potentially playing 80, I think he's very, very much undervalued and could actually elevate this year into that 50-plus score in the second row.
No Whitehead.
To be honest, he has been finding his way onto my bench, but the guy I've got there in front of him now, I'm pretty happy with him. His value and points potential. Starting half, I've got Kieran more so I've seen Brown in so many teams. I wanted to be an awkward Kent and just put someone else different in. So I'm either going to fail miserably and everyone else is going to be happy with Brown's 35 and my Crane's, whatever his name is, struggles to get 20.
I think most people have both in their 17.
Do you think? I think it's. I've done it at the points, but I think there's too much risk. Yeah. One of them is probably going sub 30 round one to me, and I'd rather, I'm taking a punt on potentially goal kicking and some general play kicking as well. I think Green does punt the ball a bit, but I'm expecting the Warriors to be booting it back from their own end quite a bit this year. I partnered in with Morgan.
Yep.
Which again has been pretty much a must. Well, a must have for me anyway. Yeah, 100% preseason favourite. But centres, I've gone with you. I've gone Capewell and Holland. Holland averaging ridiculous. He actually wasn't. Martin did all the kicking last year, so even when he finished that back end averaging 45, 46, he wasn't even the main goal kicker.
Yeah, so I think there was you're only looking at one 40. Game he kicked in, and in that game he got like 70 odd points.
Yeah, I'm not stupid. I'm not expecting him to score over 45. I think that is where he will settle with goal kicking. You're going to expect over a season some lower scores and they're balancing it out. But I think 45 from Holland is a fair call. He's priced at 30, so anywhere above 38, and you're looking at potentially having him as a keeper in the centre.
Yeah, no.
And
like Mitchell is priced. He's the centre.
Oh, he's the beef,
and he hasn't even hit that 45 average. But we think Holland can get there with the goal.
Yeah. Kicking. This is where it gets a bit scary, and I'll probably get panned. But I've gone Tedesco. He will not leave my team.
He won't
I think he speaks for himself.
Ever.
No, he's 11. But I've actually gone. I'm starting Rava and Sivo in the top 13. This was to get my Vaughan and Fafita combo.
Okay.
I have looked at dropping Fafita to someone like Burgess and upgrading one of them to Morris, who I've had in and out my team, or Clockstad. But to me, like I said, start of the season, the first 3 rounds, anything can happen. They only need to jag a try or two to be really to go into the 30s, potentially up to 35, somewhere around them. I'll be happy with anything over 30 at the start of the season between them, each for them too.
2 wingers.
Yeah.
You know they both play on the wing, right?
Yeah. I'm praying that it's not a fucking the Nabuli shit show or Edric Lee when he first came on the scene. But we got to take risks somewhere. And
do you have a plan if like Rava or Sivo come in and score 5 points the first week? Do you have?
Yeah, I just think last season I totally did exactly the same. So forget.
Your plan is essentially just whatever. It'll be fine.
Fucking wing it, bro. My reserve bench, Mahoney.
Yeah.
Just purely for he's another I've looked at potentially downgrading to one of the the Ghana types and putting someone else in, but he's just got too much price potential for me. Potential. Can he get? I think he's probably priced a bit more than Leach was when he went into his full-time role. But I think 45. I think you can expect that from him. For his price, you can't really go wrong there. I've got Ghana, which I think a lot of teams will have. Starting second row. I'm hoping he gets over 60 minutes. To offset them 20 deads, and I just, as long as he doesn't turn into that fucking bald shit truck, Rocco, and miss 13 tackles in 15 attempts, I'll be quite happy to be honest.
Yeah.
Starting Nakora. Again, exactly the same reason as Ghana. Obviously, he's less risk at base price. You're potentially looking at 300,000 from making from Nakora, I think. I can't see him going into 35. Graham and Luke Lewis. Well, Luke Lewis, he's played about 60 minutes last year. I can't see anything much under 35. He's been talked up a lot. Gallen's talked him up. I think.
And the fact he's
at
gagged
his
the
price.
starting position and kicked Sorensen out of the top 17.
Yeah. And let's be, he came in and did an half decent job last year, Saracen. So for him to do that this season as a rookie is he's got to have some raps about him.
Yeah.
And my last scorer on bench is Jake Friend.
Jake Friend.
Yeah, I think with Radley, I can't see Radley coming and spelling him. I think Radley's going to be a 50, 55-minute lock, and then just do his business. Probably Louis coming on for him. Was he 57 the back end of last year scoring? Priced at 47. I can't really look past that.
I haven't looked at Friend at all. Like,
no,
he's a good player, and if he can get the 80, like if he's consistently playing 80, he's a great option. But just every year he gets a couple string of games where he's doing the 80 minutes, and then they just start flipping him out for someone. Like last year, I think Madison had a small role at hooker at times just to spell him.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a risk, and obviously anyone who bangs out 80 every week is going to score well. And so there is risk. I just think with that Roosters makeup, that team makeup, when Crichton comes in to start, is always going to stay there. I don't know. Is he going to come on for 10, 15? Potentially. I just think, looking at the back end of the season last year, when he played 80 the vast majority of times, I think that'll continue into this season. Well, that's what I'm hoping for anyway. He's probably the one there that looked at downgrading as well and putting up one of the rookies that I've got starting, but I'm happy enough starting the season with them to be honest. Non-scoring, I got Host, which I'm not at all. Zero faith.
Host is a guy I want in my team. He's going to start for Sims is out for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So he's gonna get at least 2 decent scores starting, and he might be able to ride that to a decent cash rise.
He's gonna have to stay on the bench to make any sort of money. I think when Sims does come in, it's whether Lowry drops off. I'm not.
Well, the fact he's starting, I don't see him going from starting to off the bench entirely, and at that point you're gonna have a look at Haas and stuff, so you can make the judgment to swap him out and make a quick 50k. That's my plan, and I think that's what I'll do with Simonson.
Are you bringing in Haas depending on the role of the guy he's replacing when he does come in, or do you think Haas will get potentially more when he comes in after 4 weeks? What are you expecting from him?
He has big raps.
Yeah, from Haas.
He's a monster. I see him playing like that impact role similar to Kikau last year. Before he initially got into a starting role, I think Haas will come in, have a high point per minute, and just smash out 20 minutes, just breaking tackles left and right. And I'm going to give him a week to see how he ends up, but my plan is to jump onto him early.
I can't see the minutes inside Bulls Park. I'm not happy running someone probably 25 minutes. I can't see the big tackle breaking ability in him at this level. I know he's a fucking lump, but he doesn't look like the quick twitch type. He's not a pan guy. He's not that sort of big fend. I think he's more of a lump, but just more of a mass. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But when I see him, I can't see, unless he's getting a decent role, 35 minutes. I don't think I'll be putting him in.
I'm looking when George Burgess debuted. That's sort of off the bench, just came in and smashed and tackles left and right. That's sort of what I'm hoping from him.
Yeah, I honestly, I'll probably give him 2 weeks. I'll give him a look. Plus, I've already got 2 Broncos in this, so I think I'm pretty much at my limit anyway.
But I've got can't have enough of the best team in the league, though.
I'm not even going to get into that. We finishing off then. I got Totola.
Yeah.
We kind of touched on that earlier with someone quite a bit above base who's not even scoring. I just get on him. His stats are not brilliant. In the minutes he has played decent minutes last season, but I just think it's just like an essay last year. his role didn't really change. He just elevated his play. If he can get 40 minutes, I think he's going to go 30, 35. And make if he sticks in that role for 4 weeks, then he's going to make quite a decent bit of cash.
I honestly think there's a good chance, even when Burgess comes back, that Burgess starts from the bench for a while. Burgess is one of those players that's better as an impact role.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, that would be ideal. Worst case for us, we've both got him 4 weeks of potentially 40 minutes, 30s, 35s, with a potentially bigger one in there. You cannot go wrong. What's he priced at 20 points?
Yeah, something ridiculous.
That's decent bit of money making it. If you've got him in your starting team, you're not mad with 30, 35 starting the season.
Yeah.
Brown, I've got them Brown. I was tossing up them between. Fuck, his name is Cami Camacia.
Cami Camacha.
That's the fucker. Yeah. I was more on the hope that he takes Glasby's bench role last year. But with Stimson injured and probably Cabron moving back to the bench, I'm not really enamoured with that. But I'm willing to take to keep having there for a week, see his role, or I might just switch him out for one of your base wing fullbacks, your Garricks. I'm not a fan of Simpson, but someone of that ilk.
They've always had that 15-minute stint player that hasn't done much in the minutes, and Welch has always been in that role. I think Welch steps up this year and fills it, and takes Glasby's, and Camacho just there.
Yeah, just floating around. That is, there's always a surprise or two, 1 or 2 weeks in. But like you said, I'm not really a fan of that choice. It's more so of the slim pickings.
Yeah. Because
I've gone more, beefed up elsewhere and been left with that. But that's pretty much. It'll probably change before Friday.
Oh, 100%.
There's no doubt about that.
My team won't look anything like it does now. I'm about ready to hit clear and just start again. One guy you didn't mention is Burr, though. Is there a reason you think he just drops to the bench when Papali comes back?
Who?
Lachlan Burr, yeah.
Yeah, Burr is just your run-of-the-mill, I think, tackle bot. He's not going to offer. I don't think he's going to offer. I really don't think he's going to offer much else. Papali, he's only been stood down for 1 week.
Yeah.
I think he was a massive, massive part of the way we played last year. I can't see him not coming back in, taking that starting lock role straight away, and Burr potentially being Cami Camacia for the Warriors.
Yeah.
I'm a bit surprised Lamb's on the bench as well.
I'm surprised Lamb's on the bench.
I thought Bunty was fantastic at Stints last year. He's still very young. A lot of people forget that. He's only 21, 22.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't like Bunty. I don't know if it's the hair or the name. I just don't like him.
No, he's an odd looking creature, to be honest. But he's a good league player. I think he's got a lot more to offer. Whether or not they're going to use Lamb, whether he's still adjusting, to the team structure or whatnot, or they're just going to use him like he was used for the Dragons. Because let's be fair, he is a fucking wrecking ball at times. I don't like Blair. I wouldn't mind seeing them being bumped from the team, but not for someone like fucking Burr. I just can't see him being more than a week or so role.
Fair enough.
He reminds me a bit of the bought shit truck Rocco. Just your run of the mill. But I could see he's got a pretty poor missed tackle rate as well, Burr. He did well in one of the trials, but I think that's more of an outlier.
See, no, I liked Burr when he was at the Titans. I think he's going to do wonders if he gets the minutes at the Warriors. That's why he's in my team. He showed the offload a fair few times during the trials. Not all of them were pretty, but they're all still points.
Yeah.
So he's in my squad. I may bump him up to the starting 17 for the first week, but I just hope he manages to. If he doesn't keep the role, at least grind out that cash for the first month or so.
It doesn't happen often, but I think Burr is one of them. They'll get named start round one and completely disappear, unless a rash of injury strike. I just can't see him being in that 17th for us. And that's saying something because we're not the best this year.
Wait, you're a Warriors fan? I thought you supported the Dragons.
No, no, I've always been there. I support a certain player from the Dragons, but I've always been a Warriors fan.
Okay, not a good player not a good team to support, not a good player to support.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
Well, I've had regret from all the sports teams I support, so I thought I'd pick the Warriors, to be fair, when I started all them years ago.
Fair enough. All right, so I think that sort of wraps up our first episode. We may do another episode at some point. Who knows? We'll ask for questions at the very least.
Yeah.
We'll
see what the reaction is.
Yeah, no, like I said, just quitting the forum. Never going to be there again.
I'd like to call out Archer and get him on here and have like a mastermind sort of thing, and we'll just get him on here and abuse him, to be honest.
That would be wonderful. And I know Milchy plans to get on here when he gets the chance. We've got MF if SI ever learns to use a computer, maybe.
The only problem if we get Milchy on here, sound like a bunch of fucking idiots. When
100%.
we got him.
90% of what I quoted was him. Don't think I'm a professional. No, it's all him.
Exactly.
But no.
I never thought I'd do anything like this. I enjoyed it. Thought to do it again, mate.
Yeah, of course. So we're going to end up here, I guess, just before the 60-minute mark. Fuck, that took forever. But yeah, we'll see you guys next time.